What's up, everyone? Anton Thomas here, and I want to help you generate more referrals. So I'm going to give you a couple ideas that you can do or employ that's going to help you generate more referrals this year. Okay. So the first thing is going to be, I want you to look at your systems and your processes. Okay. And it's very important because you got to look at how many times you're communicating with your client when they're under contract and touching them or nurturing them. Okay. I've talked and seen a lot of situations or transactions where the client is under contract and they haven't heard from their agent in weeks. It's sad, but that is the reality. So let me ask you a question. If you were a buyer or a seller and your agent got you under contract and you're pending and you're awaiting closing, okay, and closing is a few weeks out, and you have not heard from your agent and it's been a week or 2 weeks, my question for you is, are you going to send that agent any type of referral business? Are you going to send your sister to work with that agent if you're not getting the service that you want? Your answer is always going to be no. There's no way I would send anyone to that agent because I don't even know if they're still alive, right? I don't even know. I'm not getting the service that I want from them. Okay. So for you, as being an agent, you need to look at how many times am I nurturing the client throughout the transaction? And I don't mean when there's a problem, now you communicate with them. How about the times where there is no problem and everything's going smooth? Are you checking in on them? Are you asking them, how am I delivering on the services to you? Is there something I can improve? How are we doing in this area? Asking those type of questions, and then just asking them straight up, what else can I do to serve you at the moment? Okay, these are nurturing questions that will make the client feel good, and it will make the client feel like they are your only client. That's the ultimate goal. You want to give them a service so good to where they're shocked if you have any other clients, because you're always communicating with them. You're always proactive in your communication and not reactive. All right. So how many times are you touching the client during the transaction? I want you to write that down, and whatever it is, you need to times that by 2. Okay. Unless you're talking to them 10 to 20 times. Okay. You're doing great. But a bare minimum, at the very bare minimum, you need to have 4 to 6 conversations with them that is not reactive to a problem. Okay. Now, in that whole process, if you add that in there and you commit to doing that, and you know you're doing a good job and you're following through, this is going to set you up for something I'm going to show you later. This is going to give you, actually, let's get into it right now. Now, if you do that the right way, if you're nurturing them, if you're making sure you're treating them and making them feel like they're your only client, right? And they're in love, they feel that from you. When you get to the closing table, you should have a raving fan form or a raving review form. And all it is just going to say something like, what would you rate the services from 1 to 10? Would you use us again? Yes or no? And then who is your agent? And give us a little breakdown of your experience with us or with me. Have a form like that. Okay. Now, the reason why this is important, because you want them to fill it out. The reason why it's important is because if there is a problem, you have an opportunity to fix it right there before you two go your separate ways. Okay. If you did a bad job and you don't have any type of way to catch that and then resolve it before the transaction's done, then you lessen your chances of getting any referrals in the future. Now, by using that form, if you can do that and they give you a 7 or they give you an 8, and you have the mindset of, well, I need a 10 or I need at least a 10, anything below a 10, I need to know what I can do to make that a 10. If you have that mindset, you're going to be able to, number one, improve very quickly. If they say, well, I wasn't happy with the communication, and you can dial in where everything went wrong, now you can improve on the next transaction. But if they give you a 10, now this opens up a dialogue by asking them, well, I'm so happy I was able to get you what you want in the time you want, and that you were happy with the services. My question for you is, do you know anyone right now who I can also serve and help them buy or sell a home, right? You are now opening up the dialogue of asking for a referral, and they're going to feel confident in sending you business, even right there on the spot, because they know that whoever they send you is going to be taken care of. Okay. Now, as you can see, it starts with number 1, when I asked you about your process and systems. Do you have any type of nurture system? Or if you're doing it, great. If you're not the one doing it, maybe you have someone like an admin or a closing coordinator, have them do it. But you need to look at your systems and processes. All right, that's number one. Going into number two, your support team. If you have a team, do you have a TC? Do you have a client care specialist? Do you have a market specialist? Who do you have in your support team? And if you do have a support team, what I just talked to you about in systems and processes, you can have your support team do that on your behalf. And then you kind of come up with your own couple touches throughout the transaction to just take it to the next step. But your transaction coordinator, your client care, your market specialist, very important. Market specialist is our term for a showing specialist. Okay, it's the same thing. We just call it a market specialist. How are you showing property? Because that's important too. Like our market specialists, they're trained to show a property a certain way to where the client is getting an experience that they just couldn't get anywhere else. All right. Number one, just being prepared, having all the correct documents, all the knowledge on the property, all that stuff is important. That goes into great client service. The better your service is, the more referrals you get from that client because they're going to become an advocate of you and your company. All right. So even all the way down to how you show property. Are you showing up? Are you, on time or before the client? Are you opening up the doors and having all the lights on before the client gets there? Is there a process that you follow to make sure the client is getting all their needs met? Okay. Very important. Your TC client care, same thing. Do you have them using scripts that's going to help, in help the client get a better experience, right? Are you training your support team to help provide that type of communication with the client? All right. So look at your support team and dial that in. Now, if you're a solo agent, great. Now it's all on you. Okay. This is where it goes back to systems and processes. Use your CRM and your CRM or in your calendar. Make sure you have reminders for you to take certain actions, maybe a nurture call, a nurture text, a nurture video. Okay. These are the things that you got to do. But if you have a team, look at your support team and get that dialed in. Very important. I want to also talk about techniques. I kind of already touched on it, but let's dive deeper. You got to be a true professional, right? A part of client service is you being a true professional. That's you dressing the part, you talking the part, you knowing how to have effective dialogue. You mastering your sales skills improves the client's service, the client service aspect, and it makes the transaction for the client not as you could say crazy, because a lot of transactions can be up and down, so it could be an emotional roller coaster. The better you are at sales, the better you are able to handle that turbulence and communicate it effectively to the client that everything is going to be okay and guide them the right way, right? That makes the whole transaction experience better, the higher skilled you are. Do you have high energy, right? Are you bringing high energy, or are you coming to showings and to meetings with low energy? Are you on the phone with them with low energy, like making them feel like that you don't even want to be there? I've actually had a situation early in my career where it was like 8 o'clock at night and I had my last showing of the day. Okay. And I was so tired. And when I got to the showing, I didn't check myself before I got out the car, right? A mental check and just try to get myself ready. I just got out the car because I was ready to be done for the day. And I met with my client. We were walking through the house and the client actually said to me, "Hey, Antoine, are you okay? You seem like you don't want to be here." And that you don't ever want to hear those words. Okay. Now, ever since that time, I made sure that every time I got in front of a client, or even before I spoke with a client on phone or whatever it may be, that my energy was where it needed to be. Because I never wanted to hear that. I don't ever want my client to feel like I don't want to be there with them. Right. So check yourself from the neck up, make sure that you have your energy on point, always be in agreement with the client. Okay. You don't ever want to break rapport. All right. Stay in agreement. Establish yourself from the first dialogue, the first conversation. Establish yourself as an authority. Okay. Get their respect. And you do that by being great in your conversations, knowing what you're talking about, showing up as a professional. And then when you have to tell them the bad news, they trust you, right? They trust you. And if you ever make mistakes, they just consider it human error, right? Because they see you doing what you're supposed to do and you being a great advisor, they allow the little miscues to be okay, right? But you got to stay in agreement and make sure you build up to that from the very beginning, okay? You got to establish yourself as that, right? Know how to stay in rapport with people. That's a skill. And then play the long game, okay? Play the long game. Understand that not everybody's going to turn into a check, which you shouldn't even have that mindset. And that's the problem. Most people have a mindset to where if this person isn't ready to do anything right now due to life scenarios, life situations, or maybe financially they're just not ready to go, then they get put off to the side, and they feel like the person will feel like they're nothing. They're just another number, right? Play the long game, meaning take those people and still love on them as if they're ready to buy or sell right now, okay? Because it's all about long game. It's all about building relationships with people. That is how you generate referrals. Okay. Not worrying about getting this deal closed, but worrying about the lifetime of my relationship with this person, making sure that I am their go-to, that they are an advocate of me and my company. That is playing the long game. Now, to close, one of my favorite sayings is don't close deals, open relationships. Okay. You got to love on all your clients that previously closed with you. So when somebody closes a deal and now you two are parting ways, you got to continue to love on that person. They still need to get calls, and there's multiple things you can do to really nurture that relationship, but don't just, move on and then they don't ever hear from you, because that's what normal agents do. Okay. 70 to 75% of people would use their agent again, but they don't know who their agent was. They don't know if their agent is still in the business, okay? So only 30%, 25-30% of the people are actually using their agent again. And those 25-30% people that are being used again have clients as advocates because that agent stayed in touch with that past client consistently, reached out on their birthdays, maybe sent them birthday cards and gifts. Maybe did client events, right? Which is a big one. I know most people should be doing it. I know that's one of the most popular ways to stay in touch with people. But how about a simple call on their birthday and just saying, hey, happy birthday. Just want to let you know happy birthday. Or just video text saying, hey, Samantha, I'm thinking about you. Just wanted to see how you were doing, if there's anything in the world I could do for you at the moment. Those things really, they stick with people, okay? So you got to continue to love on the people that took the time and put their whole financial health on the line for you to handle whatever their asset was, right? Selling, buying a home. They trusted you. So now in a way, you got to make sure that you repay them and let them know, hey, I'm always here for you no matter what. That is how you build advocates, and that is how you build a referral-based business. That's how you generate more referrals. So you don't have to do all this. It is it's a process, and use each thing we talked about as a stepping stone to get, but the key is to get it to where this thing just in spite of you and your human errors, your system, your referral system is going to work no matter what. That's what you want to get it to. In spite of you, you are going to generate referrals because you built out a referral system. Okay. That is what you need to focus on. All right. That's all I got for you guys. If that was helpful, if I brought any type of value, please like, comment, or subscribe. And then you guys stay safe out there. I'll see you guys on the next one.